La 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 la. Okay, we're going. We're there. We're live. We're rocking and rolling. We're gathering an audience. We're warming up the computer. We're drinking the tea. It's winter in Ireland. It's not so cold, but it's not hot. Yeah. So grateful to be here with you. Here we go, one more time. So this is Lou Martin, and this is my spirit talk for the 20th of December 2016. You're all very welcome. I'm getting on a little late tonight. I had to finish Last Tango in Halifax, which is one of my favorite telly shows, and it hasn't been on for at least 6 months, so I had to catch up with that, and that was good fun. Derek Jacobi and a few other great actors. So let's see here. My computer is being a little slow. Where am I? Give me a moment. Boom. So anyway, hello everyone, and good evening and welcome. Thanks to Laura, my friend from Dublin, who missed... what was it, Laura? Sunday night, I think. Sunday night. Here we are, Tuesday. So yeah, Sunday night was great. If you were there, it was a good program, I thought. I was very prepared, unlike this evening. But you know, between the jigs and the reels, as we say here, it got a little complicated. And once again, my friends at Facebook weren't happy with my choice of music. So. Flush, Gone with the Wind. Yeah, another important lesson in humility. So anyway, thank you. Yeah, it's all good. So there's a lot going on here tonight. It's very easy to kind of put all this together because there's so much happening in the world right now. Obviously, tomorrow is the solstice, the 21st, winter solstice, and I put a picture of Newgrange on my page. My buddy Andrew Coleman and a few others liked it. I've not been to Newgrange on the Hill of Tara in Meath, County Meath. I've been to Loch Crew, yeah, just down the road there, I understand, nearby. Anyway, same county. Excuse me. But Newgrange is a prehistoric monument in County Meath, located 8 kilometers west of Drogheda. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, on the north side of River Boyne. It was built during the Neolithic period around 3200 BC, making it older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. That's amazing. So it's this, you'll see the picture there, it's this beautiful sort of heart-shaped, womb-shaped massive stone structure with the green grass of the hill around it on top of the structure. So it's very feminine, it's very organic, it's very womb-like, as I said, and heart-like, and this is where the ancients, where the winter solstice rising sun would align straight through the structure. So I understand they have a limited amount of space, of course, inside, so you kind of draw lots to see who gets to be inside during the winter sunrise tomorrow morning. And I'm sure many of you here have done that, and I'm sure it's an amazing experience. So here's to the creators of Newgrange, yeah, and here's to the winter solstice. And there's many, yeah. Festivities and celebrations and events at sacred sites, and I saw down the road there in Skibbereen they were having a lecture on the meaning of the Drumbeg stone circle, which a lot of people will probably be at tomorrow morning or during the day at some point. So yeah, it's still a big deal, you know, and what I want to say again is that in my studies of all things esoteric, that the equinoxes and the solstices are I'm warming up now, are are sacred times, sacred moments, and the 3 days before, the day itself, and the 3 days after, that whole week-long period either side of these moments in the calendar are especially powerful, and they're especially good times for working magic, for working miracles, for creating change, for aligning with the ancients and spirit and all of those, the angels and the divine, all of that. So it's a good night here as we get ready to go into that tomorrow morning at sunrise, to whenever the exact solstice is, to, you know, tune in, yeah, to kind of get connected. So thank you again, everyone, for being here and for being a part of this journey here with me tonight. Let's see. Yeah, there's been, of course, sadly, yesterday, I guess, or over the last couple days, there's been a few, you know, terrorist attacks, one in Turkey and one in Berlin, and these are always, you know, shocking, terrible, you know, upsetting moments. So I just want to say here the prayer that I channeled after the attack of Paris in, of a year ago, November. So let's just start with this and send some loving energy to our brothers and sisters who have been touched by pain and fear in this way. We'll just close our eyes and take a deep breath, if you would, and I'll read this. Mother, Father, God, Goddess, all that is, all peace-loving people of the world unite in one voice, one heart, one soul, and one spirit, to bless and heal all pain and fear, and to comfort and guide all troubled, grief-stricken hearts and minds at this cosmic moment. We know that this is a cry for love and for healing. Mother, Father, God, we know that you are our strength and our courage in the face of darkness and hatred and fear. We know the darkness will pass and the light will return to our lives and to our world. Thank you for this profound, heartbreaking cry of anguish and fear to the heart of humanity, asking for more love, more courage, more compassion, greater justice, and greater kindness in our world. We surrender our illusions of separation, of status, of hierarchy, of class, of race, of religion, of all those illusions which would divide brother against brother and man against God. Use us this day for your divine purpose of love and healing for these places and for the world, for Berlin and for Turkey and for the world. With good God for all and harm to none. We invite the angels of peace to create a miracle of love and courage for our new world. So be it, so it is, and so we are. Take a deep breath. So let's just send some light and some love out into the world here on the eve of the solstice, and to bless and to call forth for greater compassion and greater wisdom and greater understanding and greater kindness and love and forgiveness, and for a peaceful world and for peaceful lives and peace in our hearts. We're thankful and grateful. We let it be, and so it is. Okay, thank you very much. And I had a channeling here from my guides from the ancients. Yeah, I'll save that for a second here. What I want to talk about, just kind of go randomly around things here once again. On Sunday night, I mentioned that Patricia Cota Robles, who I love very much and follow very closely, her message from her guides is that in the first 11 days of January, that things are going to be extremely powerful. And so, as I've said, as I said on Sunday night, if you were there or recently, you know, and Patricia's going to talk about this here as well, excuse me, in my post from her, that, you know, we're purifying, we're healing, we're completing, we're surrendering, we're deepening, we're opening. We've been doing a lot of powerful soul searching in 2016. As I say, particularly for the healers and the students and teachers of love and truth and wisdom. Our guides and spirit have been really, you know, wringing out the last little drops of confusion or resistance or denial. Yeah. So let me just read what Patricia says here, the first 11 days of 2017. According to the Company of Heaven, an unprecedented influx of light will be anchored on earth through the divinity of every person's heart flame by his or her I Am presence during the first 11 days of 2017. Then each person's I Am presence will be able to use this light to assist with his or her greatly accelerated transformation throughout the rest of the year. So get yourself ready, my friends. We were informed by the beings of light that this new frequency of light will be instrumental in bringing the truth of the patterns of perfection for the new earth into the hearts and conscious minds of the masses of humanity. The realization of this truth will be a critical factor in lifting humanity out of fear and completing the purification of the human miscreations that have been pushed to the surface all over the planet during the events of 2016. And then she goes into her numerology here. She says, as you've heard this sometime, yeah, from me and others, numerically, 2017 is a 1 year. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 equals 10. 1, 0 is 1. 1 is the number that reflects rebirth, transformation, and new beginnings. New Year's Day, January 1st, 2017, will be a 1 month, a 1 day, and a 1 year, equaling 111. 11 days later, January 11, 2017, will be a 1 month, 11 day, and 1 year, or 1111 or 1111. 11 is the master number that reflects the transformation of the physical into the divine. I didn't know that. 1111 is the sacred geometric coding within humanity's DNA that began initiating humanity's awakening several decades ago. Many people have been oblivious of this subtle motivator for our awakening. But with the new frequency of light we will receive in January, we are being told that will no longer be the case. In other words, people will be aware, more people will be more consciously aware that something spiritual, consciousness, healing is happening in our lives and in the world. And finally, she says here, your light is needed now. Mother Mary is invoking our assistance at this time on behalf of all humanity. Please listen to the replay of Mother Mary's activity of light, and through your heart flame, she will exponentially expand this blessing on behalf of all humanity and Mother Earth as well. So in her interview, the link is there. It's about an hour and a half, I think, and about 30 minutes into it, and that, I think there's a separate link. She does Mother Mary's Rosary for Ascension, and I was mentioning on Sunday night that that this energy for Patricia started on the 12th, and the night before this began, her mother-in-law, who was, I think, 96 years old, made her transition, and so she was definitely a part of that energy, because she'd been a very devoted spiritual practitioner, especially with Mother Mary and Mother Mary's Rosary. And for people who are not so Catholic or not so devoted to Mother Mary, or whatever, it's the Divine Feminine, of course. Patricia mentioned that that Mother Mary is also, you know, connected with Mary Magdalene. So both of these very enlightened ladies, yes, spirits now, are working with us and through us, and many of you are probably quite conscious of this, much more than I might be, but that this energy of healing, of new beginnings, of rebirth, all the things that have been happening around justice and freedom, this is definitely on the agenda here, and want to talk about that more in a moment. So anyway, do check out the meditation from Patricia. Yeah, because it's well worth hearing. Yeah, okay. And it's about 30 minutes long, as I mentioned on Sunday night. So speaking of justice, here, taking a break from Standing Rock for a moment. I'm not sure what the latest is, excuse me, over there, but here in Dublin, in Fair Ireland, since Sunday, and it's continuing, there's been this takeover by homeless advocates and activists of an empty office building, by the look of it, in Dublin, to house the homeless. And I've learned a little bit about this since then. And today, on both RTE, which is the TV station here, for those who don't know, outside of Ireland, and in the papers, the Irish Times and the Journal, there's been great coverage of Glen Hansard singing his own Irish version of "This Land Is Your Land." They're still working out the geography of how the lyrics go, but it was really beautiful. And there was about 1,000 people in the street for this lunchtime concert that Glen did today, and it's having a great impact, and it's getting us all thinking about these things and talking about these things. And what I've learned since Sunday is that there's just been new legislation in the country, and that people are being evicted, you know, quite, you know, there's just like this open battle now between property owners and tenants, basically. And even people that are paying their rent are being evicted and losing their housing. So it's I did not know that. I wasn't aware of that. So I'm happy to learn that the details of that. And this is why Glen Hansard and Damian Dempsey and other people have stepped up here. Let's see. I know Tina's not a fan of the audio video, but sometimes the words just don't do the job. Let's see. Can I manage this? Let me try here. I'll give you a minute of Glen, if my computer will cooperate. La la la. There we go. There's some movement. Well, it looks like this. This is what I'm waiting to show you here. Let's see. Here's Glen, and he's standing on a chair, and here's the crowd. Yeah, but it doesn't look like my video wants to play. That would be too easy. Do I have another one? There's one. Let's try this. Let me get this going. La la la. All right, well, I'll work on that. Yeah, anyway, it's fun to see. It's great. It's very inspiring. It's more than fun. It thrilled me to the core, I have to tell you, to see this. And God bless Glen Hansard for doing his part. Yeah, he's really got people inspired here. You know? All right, none of my videos want to play for some reason. Then the other thing that I want to say here is somewhere in here, an actor, an activist, gave a fantastic speech about all of this from one of the theater spaces, I think. I'm just scrolling for that. Yeah. anyway, you can find that as well. It's also on my page here. But the point is that you know, divine activism, spiritual growth, consciousness, you know, divine timing, the solstice, Christmas, all these kinds of things. You know, there's a tremendous opening of people's hearts right now, is what I want to say. And I think it's a really, really beautiful thing. And even though today officially just to rain on my own parade here for a moment, Donald Trump was officially named King of America today because the Electoral College gave him the necessary votes. There was one glimmer of hope left. That was it. Bernie Sanders didn't even get a vote. You know, Hillary got votes, Donald got votes, other people got votes. Bernie wasn't in the running there, evidently. So that's over and out. That's a fait accompli. But we're going to win that great fight as well, I've no doubt. So let's see. Now that my videos aren't playing nice. Oh, I want to mention this as well. There's I'm on a website called Gaia.com, Gaia, the Greek word for earth, and I've mentioned it many times in the past. There's a brilliant interview with which is also on my page here, with Regina Meredith, who's the journalist, and her guest is a chap named Adam Trombley, and I'll put his link up. And Adam is kind of a new age scientist. Excuse me. He was featured in the film Thrive, which many of you may have seen, which is a brilliant movie. Yeah, and so Adam is talking about how in his research he's discovered how well, it's, you know, let's see how to do this succinctly. So there's this thing in Alaska and in other places called Haarp, and Haarp is a microwave technology that has been used, according to many different people, to create the weather and to mind control and to influence people. And what Trombley was saying is that he was able to demonstrate to his own satisfaction, he's a very brilliant guy, that as far back as the first election with Obama in 2008, that our friends in the powers that be over there were using Haarp technology to get people to vote for Obama. And I know David Icke has talked about microchips, and a few talks ago I was mentioning Bang biology, atomics, nanotechnology, and genetics, and you know, the agenda to you know, enslave the world. Ho ho ho. So anyway, Trombley has some amazing things to say. What he talked about, what I really wanted to get to here, is he was friends with John Lilly, who was a genius. Another one, and John Lilly did a lot of research with consciousness with the dolphins, with working how to communicate with dolphins. And John Lilly was a towering figure in the 60s and 70s in the scientific community, in the consciousness community. Actually, John Lilly is the creator of the isolation tank, which, if you ever saw or heard of a film called Altered States with William Hurt, which was brilliant way back when, that featured an isolation tank. An isolation tank is warm salt water that allows you to be so buoyant that, you know, your body is floating in the tank, and after a while, you know, 20 minutes, etc., whatever it is, you stop being aware of having a physical body, and you start to hallucinate. You know, you start to have out-of-body experiences. So that's Adam Trombley, John Lilly, and now we come to Robert Monroe. And Adam Trombley knew Robert Monroe. Who's Robert Monroe, if you don't know? Robert Monroe created the Monroe Institute, and he was another researcher in consciousness. It's in West Virginia, I believe, near where the Edgar Cayce Institute is in the States. But Monroe did 3 books, Journeys Out of Body, Far Journeys, More Journeys, something like this. Monroe was an expert at out-of-body experience. So John Lilly, Robert Monroe, and Adam Trombley, they've been researching consciousness in many different spheres and areas scientifically for a long, long time, yeah? And so that's why what Trombley has to say here about how the media and technology within the media can be used to get us to think in a certain way is very timely. Yeah, so it's an amazing interview. I hope that made some sense. I learned a lot. I remembered a lot of what I've learned about consciousness and technology, but he shared a lot of things that I hadn't heard before. So that's there as well. Yeah. Here it is. This is the blurb here on my page. It's the show is called Open Minds with Regina Meredith, and the title is Mass Media Brain Entrainment. And Regina's introduction says, coming out of the 2016 elections, many people feel lambasted, not only by the results, but by the lingering effects of the candidates' massive media campaigns. Adam Trombley explains how commercials are used to entrain our brains to feel certain emotions towards products and candidates. But the entrainment process does not stop there, as media is part of a larger mind control operation which includes fluoride, chemtrails, and Haarp to subdue the population. Fortunately, there are ways to counteract these effects and take back your own entrainment. So that's the other subject there, just to touch upon briefly, that fluoride, of course, was popularized during the Nazis, and was used to keep people passive, and as we know is a carcinogen, and it's also lowers the sperm count and things like this. So then we have chemtrails, and I'm sure you're up on chemtrails. Chemtrails is geoengineering, I guess they call it. Chemtrails is, when we see all this nonsense in the sky that should not be there naturally, or wouldn't be there, from a regular jet exhaust. It's there for a long, long time. So the planet's been, been dusted with these chemtrails day after day for years, and then the fluoride, of course, is in the water, and then we have the Haarp technology happening in the media. So if the powers that be weren't so scared of us thinking for ourselves, they certainly wouldn't be doing all of that, my friends. So the good news is that energetically, as we allow ourselves to reach into a higher vibration. I was listening to Steve Winwood's song Higher Love recently. He did a version of it with his daughter, who's also a very, very good singer. But as Abraham says about all these things, if we're just stay stuck in the negative, right, then we can only be affected by those things that we're vibrating with. And this is the analogy of cancer and illness as well as every other thing. So when you come to a higher vibration, when people are wanting to heal, then we learn to laugh and to be joyous and to listen to great music and to watch things that are inspiring and read books that are inspiring and all of that. So when we're inspired once again, our hearts open up, our minds heal, they quiet, they become receptive rather than complaining or fearful. And in that place of the quiet mind and the open heart, inspiration, and that is the voice of spirit. That is being lifted up. That's being raised in vibration. So, while all these other things are happening in the world, God love us, terrorism and chemtrails and whatnot, at the same time, we are learning to, as my guides say, listen to, trust, and follow our loving inner guidance. So when you have, once again, I'll just give you my minute or two here about all of this. If you have the desire to begin to access your own inner resources, you must begin to have some form of a spiritual practice, yeah? And of course, we have great freedom and great opportunities and great distractions. Excuse me, but basically it comes down to how we divide up our time, right? How we use our time. So as I was saying at the beginning here, the solstice and the equinoxes, these are sacred moments, and these are open doorways. And when astrologers and channels and whatnot are saying, you know, get ready for this, get ready for that, etc., it's if it feels helpful, if it feels inspiring, you know, then please take this as the invitation, as my ebook is titled. Yeah, this is the calling from your spirit, saying here's how to learn more about who you are. Here's how to change your mind about what you believe. Here is how to begin again. So there's a lot of letting go that's still going to happen on the planet, and for many of us, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be a screaming tragedy, And then when beautiful things happen, like the homeless being supported so passionately here in Dublin, they said, I was reading on their webpage, that they can't take any more donations because people have given so much, and there was going to be a meeting tonight for volunteers and all of that. It's brilliant, you know. People want to help each other, people want to support each other, people want to live in a loving, kind, and supportive world. That is a great thing, and we're going to create that, everyone. There's no doubt about it. So our spiritual practice gives us access to the emotional resources that allow us to find and follow our inspiration. And you see, when we just live in the mind and just live in the world of effects, then we're disconnected from our inner self, and you know, we don't have that sense of fulfillment, of sustaining and generating, a sense of our own spiritual and emotional needs. So our most important job every day is to meet our needs, and those are to be safe, loved, and supported. And when we are willing to be open to giving those to ourselves, then Spirit can add on to that, can build upon that, But if we're in our own little bubble, it usually takes challenge and crisis, to get our attention in order to change our minds. So that is that, Here's one that Brenda typed up. Thank you, Brenda. I know you're out there. And I titled it, Your Voice and Your Vibration Are Greatly Wanted and Needed Now. And my guides just say here 4 very simple sentences, which are great affirmations, great to work with affirmations every day. So you might just take this in for a moment. I am open and receptive to great good. I am open and receptive to great love. I am open and receptive to great success and abundance. And I am open and receptive to great joy. My guides say, in your quiet times and in your inner journey, and in your enlightened conversations and relationships with the spiritual community of humanity, which is coming online now as never before, your voice and your vibration are greatly wanted and needed. So again, my friends, I'm so grateful to have these moments to talk about these things with whoever is out there listening, and want to celebrate you and appreciate you and give thanks for how this is unfolding in the perfect time and the perfect way. All right, I just tried to sneak up on my video again, Let's see, what else do I want to say here? I hope that all makes sense. I'm going to, where am I at here? 40 after. Coming down the home stretch here. I'm I'm not able to do the Skype calls. Skype has changed the how they do that, and so it used to be very easy for me to get on and get off and invite people and you know, choose how to do that, and it's gotten more complicated, so I'm sort of letting that go at the moment. So I have my little homemade ad here. I'll just give you a brief commercial before we finish up for a few things. Yeah. One is that I want to do a one-day retreat on the last Friday of the month. That's Friday week. Yeah, I'd be open to do it on Saturday also if people let me know they're interested. I'll put the post for that out there, but it's going to be a spiritual retreat here at where I live in Bandon, and you're all invited to that if you're available. I really want to do some a class, yeah, together, a workshop, that's the word, yeah, to help us all get ready for the next year. So that is that's on the agenda. And what else? Yeah, and so I've got my little. There's I have one post with 4 pictures. And my face is one of those pictures. And those that's my homemade ad for channeled readings and one-on-one sessions with me. And I've got a whole menu of choices there for you to choose from. And so take a look at that if you would. Everything from just a 30-minute tune-up to a full channeled reading and an astrological reading as well. So all that is available there. Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a massive wave of energy that hit the Earth yesterday, 12/19. They really don't know where it came from or what caused it, but it was absolutely gigantic, and that might have been something that you were feeling and affected by as well. Yeah. All right. So, and I'm still working on my Brenda and my final version or next version here of the invitation, and I'll do a reading about that and a little promo about that sometime in the next day or two here. So that feels pretty good. Yeah, pretty okay. What else? Anything else? I'm sure there's more. There's always more. Anyway, like I said, I'm really winging it tonight here. Just jumped onto the chair. Well, I'm just seeing if I can let's see here. No, what else? Okay. Here. I want to give you this.
This building, Dean Scurry set up a series of meetings with a series of remarkable people with the view to doing one single action that might, in the centenary of 1916, make us feel like we haven't entirely lost our spirit. And that now has manifested in this extraordinary event that the whole country is talking about and other countries are talking about. So on the simplest level, this was an act of defiance as much as an act of humanity. Dean asked me to write something for Jim Sheridan. Jim Sheridan read it and understandably said, "Fuck you." And so this is just simple words, and all they are is just an attempt to articulate the remarkable capacity that this building has, that these people in the room have, and that we have as a country. It's called This Is Our Ireland. 100 years ago, men and women fought a bloody war for our Ireland. The most idealistic among us, the bravest among us, the best among us from every rung of society put everything on the line for our Ireland. They are the forefathers of our revolution, and we are the sons and daughters of their sacrifice. And we have failed them miserably, horribly, shamefully. This is our Ireland, and it's a different war now. Insidious, malignant, cancerous. Idealists are liars, heroes are cowards, bullets are banks, and bombs are big business. They don't call this war a rising or a revolution. They call it austerity. People are profit margins now. Politics is criminal negligence. Death is collateral damage. In this 1 year, the centenary of 1916, more people have died by their own hand than were killed in the entire Easter Rising. In the last 8 years of austerity, more people have committed suicide than died in the 30 years of the Northern Irish Troubles. This is our Ireland, and 100 years after 1916, austerity is not just a lie, austerity is murder. And this is our Ireland, where corporations can operate tax-free with impunity, where natural resources can be purchased for a song, where our national leaders lie on the world stage about a recovery, where the protected banks can rip people from their homes and vulture funds can peck at the carcasses, where families can be burned to death and the survivors are dumped in a concrete car park, where the Census Office can report 250,000 empty properties and the homeless can fuck off and die. This is our Ireland. Ideals fought for by people far braver than us are being systematically destroyed, one human right at a time. And still, we wait. As citizens and non-citizens in second-hand sleeping bags lie on cold concrete while elected and non-elected scum in three-piece suits protect the criminally corrupt. And still, we wait. As our parents and grandparents lie terrified on a hospital trolley or slumped alone in an emergency room, as our children or grandchildren make plans to leave the country and never look back, or put ropes around their necks because of the legacy we've handed them, as sheriffs come knocking for the keys to our doors and the rights to our homes, all in the name of austerity, that con, that lie, that scam, that blood splatter. And still, we wait. This is our Ireland, which is why we've no intentions of causing any hurt, which is why we will operate within the law as much as possible. Which is why, as long as 250,000 properties lie empty and our government continues to do nothing, we will fight to ensure nobody else dies in a doorway. We are doing this to show the forgotten forefathers, the future generations, and the entire world that Ireland is made up of a proud and protective people who use our strength to protect our most vulnerable. We are doing this to become the change we yearned for. This is our Ireland, not the governments, not the banks, not the corporations, not the scum in three-piece suits who know the price of everything and the value of nothing. This is our Ireland. And it belongs to the dreamers, the fighters, the explorers, the deeply rooted, the traveller and the recently arrived, the pink-skinned, the brown-skinned and every in-between skin, the old, the young, the straights, the LGBTs and the sitting on the fencers. Ireland belongs to the musicians, the poets, the artists and to their audience. The vulnerable, the special needs, the carers, the mothers, fathers and brothers and sisters who wake up every day and still somehow find the courage to fight for our better future. Ireland belongs to the people who make you proud to know them, to the storytellers who make you crack up laughing and then bend over weeping. Ireland belongs to the innumerable, beautiful bastards known worldwide for their humanity, their decency, their goddamn Irishness. Our freedom was fought for 100 years ago, and today we ask ourselves, what are we prepared to do for the people who need us most? We ask ourselves, if not us, who? If not now, when? And finally, we ask ourselves, when exactly did we allow a tiny coterie of controlling class scum make us forget just what a fucking sublime nation we are? This is our Ireland. Thanks, folks.
Okay, I loved it. I hope you got all that. That was brilliant, yeah? As we say here, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, do I have Glenn? I'll give you Glenn here for a minute on the late.
What we're doing is we're involved in an act of civil disobedience, and I call upon the better spirit of the Irish people to sort of look at this, and it's an illegal act.
What is the act? What are you doing?
Well, we've taken a building that essentially belongs to the people of Ireland and has been lying empty. The building is lying empty. We're looking at the government will house 200 people this Christmas. The government will shelter,
yes.
Sorry, not house, shelter 200 people this Christmas, and there's 260 people between the Royal Canal and the Grand Canal in Dublin. Now, this is not only a Dublin issue, but this is for us.
Nationwide.
Between the Royal Canal and the Grand Canal, there's 260 people tonight homeless. And what we'd like to do is bridge the gap. And actually, can you imagine walking home Christmas Eve after doing your shopping and there's no homeless people on the street? That's what we're trying to do.
And you've got a building?
We've got a building.
And you've got beds?
We've got beds.
You've got people to volunteers, I take it?
We've got a lot of people volunteering. We'll be asking people to volunteer. We'll be asking people to get behind the idea. It's a radical idea.
And in terms of taking over a building, are you occupying it illegally as such?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the authorities are going to come in and say
Yeah.
what? Because you can hear from the mood from the audience.
Yeah.
I think Irish citizens, as you're tapping in, they're fed up.
Yeah.
Fed up with it.
Yeah.
And the lack of action. And you occupy this building. What's the plan? What if they come knocking and say you can't be here? What do you say?
Well, you appeal to the better nature of the government and NAMA. This is a NAMA-owned building.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which essentially, if everybody who pays tax in this audience, if anyone knows their stuff, they know that that's essentially our building. We're just going to take it for a few months. And,
Okay. Brilliant. Yeah. How do I lose that? Love it. So exciting. So happy to be here for this. Yeah. Very, very good. Yeah. Oh, Glenn did a song on the show as well. Yeah. Have to catch that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But I'm not going to risk it because maybe Glenn's publisher is going to get upset with me. So anyway, there you go, everyone. Yeah, here we come. Down the home stretch. I'm all warmed up now. Yeah. So thanks for hanging in there. Let's do a little closing prayer here. And the website is loumartin.eu if you want to make a donation. It's through PayPal to lightheart2012@gmail.com. I know Christmas is a tax on everyone's pocketbook, but I'm very grateful to get to do this work with you. If you want to think about having a 30, 60, or 90-minute session with me, please take a look at my post there with the heart and the angel. And yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to be here, yeah? So we'll close out and say a little prayer here. Go ahead, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Father, Mother, God, indwelling Holy Presence, Lord God Almighty, great and perfect Spirit of love and light, in this powerful country and at this powerful moment, we celebrate the spirit of freedom for the Irish and for the world, yeah? The spirit of, fair play, the spirit of justice. And we give heartfelt and sincere thanks for the activists and the artists and the poets and the playwrights everywhere who are speaking truth to power, who are voicing and singing and dancing the spirit of the divine, within all of us, to have a greater place in our lives, to balance this world in peace and justice and harmony, and to live truly our dreams for a world that works for everyone, for a world that works for all of us, that humanity is in balance with beautiful Mother Earth, who clothes us and feeds us and bathes us every day of our lives, shelters us, and that humanity is in harmony and balance with each other, those who feel voiceless and desperate and forgotten and abandoned, and those who feel bored and distracted and impotent and voiceless. We pray for all of us, truly in 2017, that we may find our voice, follow our hearts, and live our dreams as never before. Use us, Father, Mother, God, this day and forever, to be an inspiration to ourselves and to each other, and to let this world be all that it can be and more than we imagine is possible. For this and all of our blessings, we are grateful. We are grateful. We are so truly, deeply grateful. We let it be. We let it be. And so it is. Peace and blessings. Namaste. Okay, my friends, there it is. Thank you very much. Yeah, Dennis, good to have you. Marilyn, Karen, thank you for your support. Thank you for your love and support. God bless Standing Rock. God bless the Apollo House. And God bless all of our dreams and dreamers. Yeah? Peace and blessings. Namaste.